This is my new daily driver. It's an Audi RS7 Performance. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the exact spec I ordered, and you'll join me for my first ever drive in it. Let's go. I think at the very start of this video, I need to explain to you that I haven't actually bought this car. It's on long-term loan from Audi UK. As a result, I went for the very top of the range version, didn't I? So it's called the Carbon Vorsprung. Now, the word carbon doesn't actually relate to the carbon on it. This carbon was actually an extra £500 and includes some other bits and pieces. Carbon relates to the fact that some of the silvery bits, like the badge, are in black rather than in a shiny coloured trim. Same with the exhaust, they're in black. That's the carbon bit, not the actual carbon. Doesn't really make much sense to me. I'd say what's also a bit confusing, you see, while you have this area of carbon as part of the £500 optional carbon pack, if you want the door mirrors in carbon, you have to pay a further £150. Moving back to the carbon in the car's name, that relates to this black here. So not carbon, but black trim. And to make things even more confusing, the alloy wheels I've got on this car aren't standard. While all versions get 22 inches, if you want this Y-spoke design, it's an extra £250. And then there's the paint. This is the most expensive option on this car. It's called Ascari Blue and it's a matte finish, and it costs an extra £6,000. But it looks absolutely incredible in this colour, and it does work with the extra carbony bits which are part of that carbon pack, not the black bits which are part of the standard carbon fit for the carbon black in the title of the car's name, Vorsprung Carbon. Oh, confusing. But anyway, this car looks amazing, doesn't it? What a great looking machine. The only problem with this paint is that you can't really fit cameras to it because it'll mark it, and you've got to be very careful when you're washing it because it'll scratch easily. And I'm sure it's not particularly easy to respray it. Here on the inside, one of the biggest upgrades that you get for the RS7 Performance over the old RS7 is an Alcantara steering wheel. I love an Alcantara steering wheel. It instantly makes a car feel nicer to drive. Also, when I was speccing this car, I went for the blue stitching here on the seats. And because this is the Vorsprung model, we get the upgraded Valcona leather, which is nice and soft. But also got, oh yeah, blue seat belts. And there's blue stitching here as well on the armrest, which once again is Alcantara, as is the top of the gear selector. And look, some more blue stitching there. I really, really like all that. What I'm not so keen on though is this. It's called Carbon Twill, and it sort of reminds me of rattan garden furniture. When I was speccing this car, I thought that this was actually just carbon fibre, not this weird nuss. Not really a fan of that. The rest of the interior is just normal Audi RS7, so design, it's getting on a bit now, but it still looks very nice. Got leather on the dash. Quality is generally pretty nice, solid. Got some piano black plastic here, which I've got to be very careful not to scratch. We've got some more Alcantara here on the door with stitching. But once again, look, more of this horrible twill. I don't like it. Ugh. What's that all about? There is one thing that I do like though. So my Audi R8 that I had before this had horrible, cheap feeling plastic gear selector paddles. These are metal backed, much, much nicer. And it is a really nice cabin to sit in. Got Alcantara here on the headlining and a sunroof. I don't actually recall speccing that. Maybe it just came as standard. I don't know. Still, it is nice letting a bit of light into this cabin, because otherwise, let me just shut it. It can seem a little bit dark. Yeah, it's definitely better with that open. It's a bit noisy though, isn't it? It's a nice interior though, I do like it. Here in the back, we've got the blue stitching yet again, and the rear seats feel quite sporty. Blue seat belts to match those in the front, and Alcantara bits here, in the door lining and in the armrest. Very, very nice, but oh no, there is again the rattan effect, not a fan of that. Dear. As standard, you've got climate control here in the rear, and you've got heated seats. One thing that's really important for me about this car, look, we've got ISOFIX anchor points there, but you've also got ISOFIX on the front passenger seat, which is really, really useful. I mean, the Audi R8 that I had before this was very, very impractical as a family car, though I did still love it. In terms of space back here, so knee room, that isn't bad at all. Headroom, yeah, I think people over 6 foot will be just about fine. And there is an armrest here with some cup holders. Oh, hello. Oh, hello, shut. I think I've broken it already. Shut. There we go, stay. Some storage under here. And there should be through loading if I do that. There is one thing that's quite useful that I've noticed. So here is a little sunshade. Which will be really handy when my daughter wants to have a sleep on a long drive. However, I don't know why we haven't got them on the rear windows as well. Fortunately, there's quite a strong tint on these rear windows. Now, I don't normally like the look of them from the outside, the tinted rear windows. It looks odd when you have to have the fronts just completely clear. But, you know, at least it'll keep the sun off her. Anyway, let's check out the boot. The boot capacity of the RS7 is actually a decent 523 litres. Now it's smaller than you get with the RS6, that's 565 litres. Also, while this hatchback tailgate is really useful, it's just not going to be as practical as a boxy estate because part of it is quite narrow. Look, it's not the deepest, is it there? Also, look at this. There is no space for the load cover underneath the false floor. Now, I would normally yeet it, but it feels so luxuriously expensive that I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to hand it to my very capable and beautiful assistant. Thank you, capable and beautiful assistant. One of the advantages of this car compared to something like a BMW M5, because it's a hatchback, when you fold the seats down, you do have a really big, useful load area. So this is a practical family car, isn't it? But of course, it's also a high performance car too. The RS7 Performance has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8, which is pretty much the same as the one that you got in the normal RS7. However, they've made some changes to it. The result is that performance goes from 600 horsepower up to 630, and torque rises compared to the normal RS7 from 800 newton meters to 850 newton meters. You've still got an 8-speed automatic gearbox, you've still got quattro all-wheel drive, and you've still got a launch control system, which I'll be trying out in a moment. Before I do that though, I want to talk you through this car's tech. So Audi's infotainment system is starting to feel a bit old now, but it's easy enough to use and it's got all the functions you actually really need. Plus there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Down here you have your climate controls, so it kind of has haptic feedback like your mobile phone. Not as easy as twiddling a knob, but it's not too bad. It's not buried in a sub menu to operate the temperature. Plus I've got heated seats, cooled seats, I've got a heated steering wheel as well. All very, very good. And another thing I really like, enough of that. We've got a Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is really, really loud. Got a digital driver's display. It's not the clearest on the market now, but you know, it still looks very, very good. And my favorite thing, there's a heads-up display as well. That's really, really useful. Plus, if you want to kind of customize the interior, you can do. So if I go into here, car, I can go to, where are you? Lights and vision, background lighting. And you've got these different themes here. Ooh, yes. And then go to an individual mode for different colours for the surfaces and contours. Look, there's 30 different colours. Lovely. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with yet. We'll find out maybe a little bit later on. Let's have a listen to the cold start on the RS7. Go on, start it up. Open the valves. That's weird. It started with its valves open and then it shut them for the cold start. Can you open the valves? Turn it off. Then it opened them again. Odd. Let's try that again. So look, car is off, valve is open. Start it up. Sounds great. No. Oh, it's shut, then it opened again. That was weird. Now it sounds better. Give it some revs. Made sure it was in the sportiest setting, but it still shut its valve and then it's opened it again. Maybe when it's on real cold startup, it shuts that valve for some reason. It could be a noise regulations thing so you don't annoy your neighbours, or it could be just to help it heat up quicker, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's done its cold start now. Want to sell your car quickly, easily, and for a fair price? Then head to Carwow to have over 4,000 trusted dealers ready to bid on it in an online auction. First, enter your car's registration to get an instant approximate valuation. Then, if you want to proceed, give us some more details and upload some photos, and we'll help you set a fair reserve price for your car. That's the minimum amount you'd be happy to sell it for. Once you've done that, we'll enter your car into an online auction. When the auction's over, we'll let you know the result, and the dealer with the winning bid will be in touch to arrange easy payment and free collection of your car. 93% of sellers surveyed said they got the price they expected or more through Carwow. The best bit is, it's completely free! I put a link in the description of this video and the pinned comment to take you directly to Carwow, where over 4,000 dealers are ready to bid on your car. Or you can just click on the pop-out banner that should be appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen now. Alternatively, just Google "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you sell your car quickly, easily and for a fair price. On with the video. Now the engine's warmed up, let's take this car for a blast to see how quick it is.
Page 113, Matt.
Huh? 113. A new vehicle should be running over the first 1,500 kilometres so that all moving parts can settle together gently and the service life of the engine and other powertrain components can be increased. For the first 1,000 kilometres, do not exceed 2/3 of the engine's maximum RPM speed and do not accelerate at full throttle. You can increase the engine speed gradually over the next 500 kilometres. Damn. You're probably wondering how much this car cost. Well, with options, it's just under £143,000. But I've noticed something that doesn't really scream £143,000. It's this, look. We've got condensation in the headlamp. That is not acceptable. Fortunately, if you buy one of these through Carwow, you can make some savings. So I've actually configured this exact car. If you want to see how much you can save on this very RS7 through Carwow, click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen or follow the QR code which will be on the screen somewhere now. This is my first time ever driving this car and I'm not going to take the revs past 5,000 RPM. I'm going to do exactly what the book says. Also, I'm going to be very cautious not to lug the engine, so I'm going to make sure it doesn't ever struggle or labour. But I'm also going to make sure I put my foot down occasionally to put it under load to help it really bed in. But yeah, 1,000 miles until I can properly thrash this thing. I don't want to do that because I want to drag race it and I can't until it's properly running. So now I'm entering a town, it's 20-mile-an-hour limit. So keeping the car in second gear, don't want to have it in third because I don't want to labour the engine. I could run it in auto, I think though in auto it's going to just shift up into third. Oh no, it hasn't. Oh yeah, there we go, it's just shifted up into third. So definitely hold it in manual, keep the revs a bit higher. One of the key things when you're running in a car is to not just do all those miles on the motorway at a constant speed. You want to go through the gears, you want to put the engine under load and then relax it off a bit. You don't want to just completely nanny it, but what you don't want to do is rev it past where you're supposed to be revving it to, because you need to give the pistons and the rings time to bed in, and that takes a little bit of time. A lot of people think that these cars are fully running at the factory, but tells you to do it in the manual, so I'm going to follow what the manual says, because while I might only have this car for about 6 months, someone else will be having it after me. They'll be paying good money for it. I want to make sure that they get a car that has good reliability, and I'll be doing my bit to ensure that happens. Also, I have mechanical sympathy for cars. I just don't like treating them badly, even if they're not my own. I will never accelerate hard when the car is warming up. Now, one of the good things about the RS7 Performance, you do get rear axle steering as standard. I'm going to try and deploy it now as I do a U-turn. It's a big car, so this could be tricky. The car can actually turn the back wheels up to 5 degrees, and when you're going at lower speeds, they move in the opposite direction to the fronts, but not by enough, because actually it only reduces the turning circle by about 30 centimetres over the standard car. Are you annoyed? It's all right, don't worry, we've all got time, no need to get angry. Yeah, he's got to get somewhere. Oh dear. To be fair, some idiot in this car doing a U-turn when he's got to get down that road very, very quickly. Anyway, turning circle 12 metres, which isn't quite enough, as you could see there, because you can anger some other road users. If I'd done that in one swoop, he wouldn't have been so cross. This car comes with adaptive cruise. I've actually got it engaged now. So I've set the speed limit to 20 miles an hour, but it'll keep me a safe distance from the car in front by using its radar. It'll also auto steer, but it's not reading the lanes at the moment. Can you read the lanes? Can you see it? No. No, it's not picking up the lanes. Oh, right, there we go. It's picking them up. It's really handy. You can use it in town. It'll actually bring it down to a stop and just move you away again once the traffic starts moving. Don't get too close to the curb because I do have big 22-inch alloy wheels. There we go, we come to a 50. It's just noticed the speed change. It's increasing the speed limit that I've set the car to. Automatically it does it on the cruise control. All very simple. Quite handy in this day and age when there's cameras absolutely everywhere and you don't want to get a ticket. Okay, one disadvantage of being in manual mode. When you've got adaptive cruise on, get yourself into automatic, otherwise you're going to do that. Oh God, I took the revs all the way to 5. That's like as high as I'm allowed to. So much for running the car in. Thankfully, I didn't get caught out by that. What an absolute idiot. But yeah, cruise control, love it. Oh no, wait, I should have my hands on the wheel. Look, auto steering. Right, that's enough of that. I'm going to disengage it. Lane keeping off. Go off. Don't know how to do it. Is it? Oh, it's there. Off. Press and hold. Now it's off. Can't remember how to do these things. My R8 didn't have adaptive cruise control, so I kind of forgot how to use it. See, there's the thing I don't want to do. I was just in 7th gear, low speed. I want to just be working through this gearbox. Actually, let's go into RS1 mode for a bit of added performanciness. Ooh, hello. I've just got a lot of fruit here. The throttle response, that's good. Let's see what it's like accelerating up to the national speed limit for a dual carriageway, 70 miles an hour, when I can't rev it past 5. See if I've got enough performance. So here's the dual carriageway. I'm doing about 40 miles an hour. 4th gear, 3rd gear now. No more than 5. It's plenty. Well, you saw that, didn't you? You don't really need any more performance. It's got so much torque, this engine. Oh, it's nice and quiet in here. A bit of road noise, not getting any wind noise at all. Very relaxing. And the suspension feels kind of sporty-ish, but not uncomfortable. Got to figure out how to turn off that speed limit warning sign because just 1 mile an hour over and beep, 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 beep. It's quite annoying. There's one thing I find annoying already. Don't like these revs for the RS1 mode. So I'm going to need to go into comfort there. Going to dynamic and that still has the better dials. Fortunately, dynamic has the stiffer suspension setup, and what I ideally want is engine and gearbox in sport and the differential in sport, plus of course the exhaust as loud as it can be, but I want the suspension in comfort. To do that I need to be in one of the RS modes because you can configure those. Well, I just hate that rev counter, it's rubbish. What were Audi thinking with that design? So let's first go with the car down a twisty road. That rear axle steering will help here as well because as you're going faster, the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the fronts to make the car more nimble and agile, but also stable. You've also got variable ratio steering, so it just sort of works in tune with your brain. That means you don't have to do loads of wheel twirling in tight corners. Oh, blimey. It's a big car this, but it doesn't have to go around corners well. But the suspension, I haven't set up RS1 properly. Definitely want to be in comfort. Do you know what? I'm going to pause for a second and set it up as I want it because the suspension in sport setting is just too bumpy on these poorly surfaced British roads. All right, let's have another go at a U-turn without someone to get mad at me. See if I can make it round this time. Go on. Look, let's go round. All the way around. Oh yeah, see? There hadn't been all those cars parked there, I'd have been all right. RS1. Quick, show me, configure. Okay, RS1. Quick, suspension. Comfortable. Okay, done. We're good. Let's go. That's as I want it. This sounds pretty blooming fruity, this does. Oh, it's got loads of performance. Don't need to rev past 5. You'll keep it with most things on the road in this. Oh, so much low down pulling power. The gearbox as well feels pretty like sporty the way it changes gear when you're in the sportiest setting. It's like bang. It does actually hammer home the gears. Whoop. What's that? What am I doing now? Oh, I'm too close to the car in front. That's our camera car. Oh, it's better when you have the suspension in comfort. It just deals with the bumps so much more. It does make it lean a bit more in the bends though, which is the trade-off, but it's definitely worth doing because you can't really grip the road if you're too busy skipping across the surface. I'm liking this already, but there is one last thing to do in it. Yeah, you guessed it. I'm going to launch it. Audi says the RS7 Performance will do 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Now, instead of using my specialist timing gear, I'm going to use this specialist timing gear that the car has built into its system. So I'm going to go into acceleration measurement, 0 to 60. Let's have some of that. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, you're supposed to be running this in. You can't launch it. Well, I'm not going to launch it normally. I'm going to just rev it to 5 and then change up. So we're going to do a launch control, see what I do 0 to 60 if you're only revving to 5. So here we go. I'll brake boost it a little bit. Even being conservative, it did an 8.9, which isn't too bad at all, is it? So far, I really like this Audi RS7 and I'm really pleased with the spec I went for. I just wish I could have had it with the carbon ceramic brakes. But oh well. Now I'll be recording quite a lot of videos on this, so make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so you don't miss those uploads. Oh, and I've been reliably informed by someone that I didn't quite calculate the maximum RPM for running this car in. It should be 4,500 RPM, not 5. So I'll be going back down to 4,500. Hopefully that extra 500 RPM hasn't done any damage. I'm sure it hasn't. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it really helps us out, and let me know what you think of my verdict on this car in the comments below. If you click on the video windows, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on the Carwow logo, you can go to Carwow to see how much money you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.